And shockingly, Dilla, we have not had a change of bottom lane.
Oh, wow, you're right. That's like the first time in forever that Najin hasn't changed it.
Really surprising, actually.
Yeah.
So it looks like maybe Najin starting to figure out that even though OQ did get a little bit throwy in the late game, they still managed to grind
Still
it out.
pretty good. You know what else is interesting is that last game, Lissandra fell all the way through picks and bans, too.
Yeah, one of the very rare times that has occurred. And LeBlanc will be the final ban here from Najin. I'm a bit surprised, considering that I wouldn't be too terrified of Bliss's LeBlanc, considering that his team fighting has generally not been so good. Jarvan first, actually, from Samsung.
Well, Jarvan the fourth, actually, Monte Cristo.
Sorry,
he's the fourth in the Jarvan line. There you go. I know, sometimes it's hard to remember. But they did first pick him, though. I'll give you that.
Well, I got it about half right then.
There you go. Well, 1/4, right.
1/4 right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, OQ
Najin's taking a long
disinterested as to
like
what is happening.
Looks like he's playing Game Boy.
He's playing cell phone games during draft.
Maybe. No, cell phones aren't allowed in the booths, I believe, so it must be Game Boy. And are they going to grab that Rek'Sai for watch right off the bat? Looks like they will. And OQ, you know, aside from that flash dive in to death moment, played really, really well on that Lucian. They got such a huge advantage early on in lane, and can't blame them for picking that champion up again.
Well, Fury has been, you know, with the Corki ban coming in, Fury has been playing pretty much Tristana and Sivir exclusively recently, so they apparently feel very confident running this Lucian into either of his picks. Now, Fury, interestingly, is known as a big Jinx player, so I'm wondering if he's going to mix it up. We have seen Jinx in non-Korean regions.
Korea's never been very big on Jinx in a general sense. They don't like her because she doesn't really have any escapes, but there have been a few players here and there that do play her anyway, and Fury has been one of those.
Yeah, including Deft actually playing Jinx in China recently, so perhaps he is playing more to that Chinese meta these days, or maybe he's got wind of something that could be quite powerful right now. There's the Lulu once again for Samsung.
Saw Looper play top Annie the other day
in
LPL, so I think the Korean players really are getting into the LPL spirit of things over there.
Pick anything. Now the Hecarim fever has swept China. It's getting a little weird over there.
I love it. I love watching LPL. Usually it's what I do before and after champions, actually.
Yeah, the Draven picks are pretty real also. And Goog may be going to his Xerath. He's only played Kassadin and Xerath in the last few matches.
All right. And what do you think about this Braum? Obviously, Braum Lucian has been a strong lane for a long time, but isn't exactly a lane that's in the meta so much right now. I think the Thresh is a better pick.
I think the Thresh is a better pick overall as well. You will be able to get more peel for this Xerath with that. And, you know, because Fizz is banned, blind picking Xerath when the Ahri is also banned is actually surprisingly safe. We are in a very weird situation where that's not the end of the world in terms of counterpicking. Obviously, you probably should never blind pick Xerath into Bliss when Fizz is available, because you do stand to get absolutely destroyed in the laning phase by Bliss, considering that he is a Fizz master.
Well, I mean, we knew this was something that Najin was going to use against Samsung, and unfortunately for Bliss, with his smaller champion pool, it's something that's pretty easy to exploit.
Agreed. I'm very curious about Najin with this Lucian pickup. I like it. Worked really well in game one. They seem to really have identified a weakness of Samsung.
Yeah.
And they put OQ on these lane bully champions in this set. Well, typically he has been playing more, you know, Tristana, something that takes a while to scale up, but they're trying to get the edge right here from the get-go. Could be Graves.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Now, we've seen Graves a lot in Europe recently.
It's certainly a way to tangle with this heavy engage lane on the other side. You can fight quite a bit more with Graves Janna than you can with Sivir Janna, that's for sure.
Right, and they just really want to counter that out this time. Fury can't fall that far behind in CS. I wonder if Najin's going to try another little trick at level 1 to get Duke that advantage, because he snowballed that level edge so well in the laning phase in the last game. It was actually quite impressive.
Well, what a turnaround for Najin, too, for, you know, Wraith to be able to get the flash out of Kassadin right away. and then have Najin turn it around and kind of use that against him while keeping Goon safe the entire time.
And maybe Maokai for Duke up in the top side.
Okay. Gnar is still available too, though.
Yeah, we don't really know where this Nidalee is going. Probably going to be jungle. Could be mid. Could be top. I mean, we don't. It's really unclear. I assume it's going to be Jarvan top, Wraith with Nidalee in the jungle, and then Lulu mid. But we're still waiting on that one. Regardless, Maokai a very safe pickup. Yeah. And looks like that is what it will be in the end. Is we do have a top Jarvan. That is very Chinese style. A lot of Chinese teams.
Or mid Jarvan. They've got until 20 seconds to switch.
Okay, well, actually, you know what? I think this is a mid Jarvan because it's against Xerath, and they're going to try and punish the immobile Xerath and hit him with ganks. So if you can contain him, make him blow his flash, then you can get him in Cataclysm, and Nidalee will be able to spear and jump into the Cataclysm.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah,
wow.
This is a Xerath counter.
This
very interesting.
This kind of reminds me of back when we saw for a very short time Nocturne used as a counter to Twisted Fate. There's these really obscure matchups that work well in these situations. Jarvan, Xerath, good work.
Yeah, Jarvan can be a bit of a lane bully too, considering his early armor penetration and the strength of that Dragon Lance.
Yeah.
Also, what's interesting is it will be able to fast push as well. If they knock Xerath out of the lane, even if they don't kill him, they have standard, and Nidalee has a speed boost to attack speed on her heal. So they actually will be able to auto turrets extremely quickly.
Yeah.
This could be really interesting. This could be fast push, actually.
You know, what's interesting is that Coco actually played Jarvan into Space's Xerath yesterday in the 1v1 tournament, and Coco won with Jarvan. So interesting to see that show up today in a regular old 5v5 League of Legends. But this is interesting. Samsung, can they tie things up and force that game 3? Let's get in the game and find out. So, here we go. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Samsung Galaxy versus Najin E-mFire, and Bliss really changing things up with a mid-Jarvan pick. How about that?
Well, Jarvan has been good against Xerath, even in the jungle in the current meta, but this allows you a little bit more freedom to constantly have that Cataclysm up against the Xerath pickup at all times whenever the jungler wants to come by, as opposed to the mid laner waiting for the Jarvan to come into lane. So it's just more Cataclysms on the mid per game. With
Jarvan against Xerath, it really is like hit level 6 and get a free flash, you know? There's not a lot else that Xerath can do to get out of that.
Now, it will depend on how well they can put pressure on with Eve. It's going to be up to Watch to really get some deep wards in early so that they can know when Eve is coming.
Yeah.
So that basically Xerath can fall back underneath the turret and avoid the 2-on-1 or the 2v2, which is still going to be quite deadly with this Nidalee in the jungle.
You know, and I wonder too if chasing that Maokai, if chasing Duke that far back, prevented him from being able to get the sapling start against the Raptors as well too, and get that little extra XP boost.
Yeah, could be. Well, looks like Bliss coming in here and going to go buy a mana potion just for more poke. But Jarvan does have mana issues early.
Yeah, he does.
Anybody who has played him is well aware that those Dragon Lances run you down pretty darn quickly. So he will be starting at the Gromp, and meanwhile we see a lane swap coming in. Thresh and Lucian up on the top side. Pure will go ahead and pile the wave. No, I don't think we did see a pile in the bottom side. Looks like Jana now walking up.
Okay.
So we're not going to see the same trick. Wraith just being as annoying as he possibly can be in this situation, but they pulled the blue buff into the brush, so Watch is going to go ahead and zone him out right there.
Getting a little bit more money, and he actually did take one of the little guys around the blue buff too.
Looks like they gave the blue buff over to Maokai. Makes sense in a double jungle. That will allow you more versatility. Of course, Watch is a resourceless champion on that Rek'Sai, so no big deal there. I like the adaptation that we're seeing. Should make things a bit easier for him. Goon getting poked really hard by Bliss right now. He's going to be having a tough time. I'm actually surprised he didn't start Claw 5 in this lane, Doa.
You know, yeah, I agree with you there too. But, you know, the interesting thing about Jarvan versus Xerath as well is that early on, Xerath's skill shots, because you're not going to have the stun right away, are pretty easy to dodge for Bliss, whereas the Dragon Lance, the Q from Jarvan, is pretty much impossible to dodge. You can poke people very easily with that.
Yeah, very fast skill shot.
Yeah.
So Goong going to have to be very conservative in his play here in the mid lane.
Yep.
And you can see him just patiently waiting for the wave to push under the tower.
Yeah, well, once Xerath has that level 3 and has all his skills, you do need to kind of back off a bit more, it seems like.
Well, they're going to be going for a lot of burst damage here, Samsung that is, once they hit the late game. I'm curious to see if Bliss is going to build for full damage or not, or if he's just going to get like a brutalizer and then start going a bit on the tankier side. Of course, that armor shred going to be very useful for Graves to burst someone down with and maximize the collateral damage.
Yeah.
Kuve teleporting up into the top side. Lane is freezing, but we do see Wraith already there. So he is going to feel quite safe, even though Pure is joining OQ in lane, and we just have a 1v1 down in bottom. No real advantages for either top laner so far. Duke a level ahead, but that should change pretty quickly.
Watch is kind of lurking in mid as well, too, wondering if maybe Bliss was going to try for a flag and drag knockup for a good trade against Goong, but Bliss wisely not going for it.
Well,
wow, Fury getting pushed back pretty hard by Duke, too.
That has to be the game plan right now.
Yeah.
Watch is getting those deep wards in that we've already discussed in this game. His mission is just to protect Xerath, because the thing about Samsung's composition is if they don't get a lead with this, they're going to get absolutely destroyed in the late game. There's not enough tankiness on this team. Lucian's going to be much stronger late than the Graves will be. Of course, Duke is going to be able to absorb a lot of that Graves damage from the burst just by standing in the front line, and Graves has such a low attack range that's going to be very easy for Duke to get on top of him with that twisted advance as well. Eve is here, Pure out of position.
Yeah, they exhaust him. They get the flash as well, too. Now Pure in a lot of trouble. There's a knockup. Will this be first blood for Samsung? It looks like it will be, but they may lose Kuve as well. OQ coming in, but he's got to be careful, too. Here comes Eve. OQ could go down, and he will. A double kill for Eve early on. Wow, OQ, I think. Talk about pursuing a bit too far. I think you kind of got to let that one go, man.
You absolutely do have to let that one go. And the problem is that you do have the extra speed boost from Lulu. He really got baited in hard right there.
Yeah.
But most importantly, Goong can't react from the mid lane in this matchup. He cannot leave mid.
Oh boy, here we go. Watch coming in from behind. They want to get a return kill here. Eve is there to help support Bliss. Goong a little bit low. There's a nice knockup from Rek'Sai though, and it looks like Najin may be able to turn this around. Oh, kills both mid laners. Well, yeah, both mid laners picking one up. Bliss backing away. Looks like they'll trade Eve for Goong actually in the end.
Not the best trade that they could have made, especially since Goong used both his summoners in order to pick that one up.
Yeah, Bliss only using that ignite to get the kill.
It's going to be very problematic once level 6 comes in, and level 6 already there for Bliss, so he's going to be able to turn this one right back around. Samsung very happy that they were able to get a kill while he used the flash and the heal. Now they can just continue to pile on the mid lane. What is Goong going to do? Watch, he's pretty much just chained to mid right now.
Yep.
If he wants his laner to stay alive, even Duke can't help TP down.
Yeah, I really do feel, too, that between Bliss and Eve, they can fight this 2v2. If Bliss gets a decent engage, also very easy for Watch, or Wraith rather, to come in and help out. So this lane, yeah, Goong's going to have to just kind of chill out under his turret for a long time.
Yeah, look at the armor penetration right there with the brutalizer.
Yeah.
I mean, Goong is really in big trouble.
Yeah, Bliss just not taking a lot of damage from being poked by individual spells. He gets the cooldown for his W back in time, I believe, and you can avoid a little bit of that. Just concentrate on CSing, and he's going to start to get a pretty decent lead.
They're going to try and dive the top side right here.
Kuve
Make
can
an
get out
advantage
of this.
somewhere else. Kuve is level 4. Big CS differential developing in top, however.
Kuve, I don't know, even with Wraith there, that's dangerous to come in on. They've got the Whirlwind, and that's going to keep Kuve safe, but he's so low mana. Looks like they're going to try to turn on this because Najin was under turret. They did have Eve there.
Huge denial of CS and experience, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Duke is level 6. Kuve is only level 5, but that's a massive, I mean, double CS for Duke right now because he hasn't been harassed up in that top side at all. And we did see Kuve leave lane, temporarily have to go back, get chunked out by OQ, even if OQ died. But during that time frame, he lost a lot of ability to CS. So couple of assists keeping him in this one, but otherwise, Duke developing that farm advantage.
Yeah, well, Fury with that pickaxe now is going to have a little bit easier time denying the CS from Duke, but Kube definitely has a lot of catching up to do.
And OQ actually opting to go for the fast Avarice play just to snowball as fast as he can into the late game, start stacking up some gold considering he died early on. And, I mean, he still has he kept up in farm even though he did have that death and have to go back. So, but at the same time, he can't really respond to what Samsung's doing. Samsung doing a great job of putting on the pressure. They know Goon can't walk away from that tower, so they get all the wards in.
Wow. Really nice.
To make the plays. And, I mean, this is really dangerous. There's no damage on OQ right now. All he has is crit. They can dive this. They can easily dive this.
Will they dive Goong instead?
They know we're
though?
watching. They should definitely dive it.
They're going to go for the mid lane, though.
That's a shame. I think they really could have been successful right there, especially after Fury found Rek'Sai on the bottom side. They had checked that jungle. There are no tunnels up there either for Rek'Sai to ult to. I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity, even though Rek'Sai isn't 6 quite yet.
Yeah. Oh, can they rotate down and possibly take a dragon here? With the duo lane up on top. Oh, Kube needs to be careful. There's a Whimsy stopping the culling. Close one. Again, Kube out of mana. And Samsung will be going for this dragon now. There is vision for Najin, but they don't really have anybody around capable of stopping this. So dragon number 1 going to Samsung Galaxy. Not bad.
That said, Samsung needs a much bigger lead than what they've got right now going into the late game to make this work. I mean, they did get the kill on Goong, but Goong's flash is nearly back up. They've almost missed that timing window that they had that was so appropriate for them to get a lead, and they haven't really stopped Goong from farming.
Well, they got some vision down, but then they kind of just milled around in the jungle a bit. They didn't really put any of the pressure they could have put onto Goong.
I really think they could have gone for that top side, just based on the itemization of OQ. He just doesn't have anything right now. So the wild growth of the Cataclysm under the turret would have been pretty painful. Pure also not level 6, so I'm a bit baffled as to why you wouldn't try a dive right there.
Oh, Bliss just content. And the thing is oh, gets stunned. Takes a lot of poke now, and that is one of the dangers. And, you know, Bliss really hasn't gotten a big CS lead out of this either.
No, he hasn't gotten any advantage besides that solitary kill in the mid lane. And they need more. They need a lot more than that. If you want to pick Jarvan mid, you have to be able to get a pretty tremendous advantage moving into the late game to be effective, because otherwise it's not going to be dealing a lot of damage, not going to be having the best wave clear in the world either.
All right, so now going back, I bet he's got about, I was going to say about 1,500 gold to spend there. As does Goong, though. Goong's going on a little bit more.
He's taken a lot of damage to his tower as well, so Lucian coming back with the BF sword. And this gold gap is closing for Najin, but it's not closing between Cuvée and Duke, and that is going to be a really big issue. Because no one on this Samsung team is capable of killing a late game Maokai. We saw how ineffective they were against the Gnar. Going to be even worse with the 20% reduced damage. I mean, Duke with the lead is going to be able to face tank absolutely everything that Samsung throws at him.
So Bliss goes into the Hex Drinker after the Brutalizer as well.
Look at Pure, back again in the mid lane. And I think this makes sense. You know what, Doa? I really believe that Najin lane swapped right here.
Can they get Duke? Fury and Wraith down inside. There's a twisted advance onto Wraith, but he's going to respond with the exhaust. Fury pushed back a bit. There's the flash. And Duke just barely making it out. Already just pretty tanky. Oh, Cuvée hit with the death sentence. There's a knockup. That's a lot of CC. Wild growth. Flash used as well. Looks like he'll escape. It's hard to lock down a Lulu, but that was close.
Yeah, very close indeed. Flay missing at the end just because of the flash used by Cuvée, but now they're going to get a top lane turret for their trouble. Perfectly acceptable trade to make for Samsung on the bottom of the map as well. Eve there to auto attack. And they're trying to deny as much CS as possible, really keep Cuvée down right here. Still doesn't have that Morello Nomicon. Duke very close to his Rod of Ages, he's going to go back and get that pretty soon. So yeah, I think that beyond the fact that the Graves is more of a challenge for Lucian in lane than the Sivir would have been, I think that a lot of the reasoning behind doing the lane swap early was just because they knew what Bliss and Eve were trying to do in the mid lane, and had they had standard lane, Pure couldn't come into mid to cover like he has been. We've seen Pure coming into the mid lane, back by the turret with Goong multiple times this game so far, deterring any kind of aggression from Eve and Bliss on the all-in on Goong, and that's Watch and Pure are the reason why Goong has been able to stay alive. They've been in the right place. They've been kind of alternating who's showing in the mid lane alongside him to put enough doubt into the minds of Samsung that they can't capitalize on this attempted counterpick.
It really is pretty incredible that Goong's only died once.
I totally agree. But that's down to Pure and Watch, and also the fact that I think this lane swap ended up working out really well from Najin. Don't need to bully the lane if you're just confident that you're going to outscale. Not to mention Duke's just ludicrous advantage on Kuve.
Yeah.
He's 2 levels up. I mean, Kuve has just been repeatedly zoned out.
Very true.
It's amazing to me that we could see a 2-level advantage for Duke when Kuve hasn't even died. In fact, he has 2 assists, right? From the play they made on the top side, but it's just been the repeated zoning from Watch. Watch is having a very good game in terms of map pressure.
Yeah.
Has that 1 kill onto Eve, but beyond that, it's been about where he's been, where he's shown, and how he's made everyone on Samsung afraid to make a play, afraid to walk up to the turret to get experience.
Well, let's see now if Samsung can take the second dragon. They've got about 45 seconds until it's back up again. Really, neither team has any vision near the pit, but Samsung does have some deep wards into Najin's jungle, so they're going to be a bit safer moving in there and getting the vision down. And if they can get that second dragon, they can still stay with this pretty strong.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult, however. I mean, Goong does have the flash available at the moment.
And the heal.
And the heal,
yep.
So he's going to have the tools he needs to deal with Jarvan. They haven't been able to kind of squeeze those summoner spells out of him in the mid lane, and they're not going to be able to get him now. Goong staying safe right next to his turret this whole game.
Yep.
And now they're going to clear out some wards right there. Poke strong very well. I mean, Italy isn't a big power spike once again.
Yep. All right. You know, it's funny to think about Graves' passive with this Pool Party skin. He's just got really thick skin, I guess.
The true grit.
It's like his iron body hair or something.
Well, I mean,
no response to that?
He normally doesn't wear much clothing anyway, so I just always assume it's his iron body hair.
I suppose. That was my assumption all as well, too. Samsung going to take an unopposed dragon here. They were able to get the vision down. They were able to poke back Najin a bit. And that's dragon number 2 for Samsung. So despite Najin playing well and getting this lead, Samsung sticking with it and getting those dragons is one of the few ways that you can sort of keep up, quote unquote, with a team that's outscaling you. It gives you more of a chance anyway. It's if we go really late game, not going to really matter, but you can stick with them up to, you know, the 30-minute mark a bit more safely.
Right. I really think this is just Najin making a decision, though, right now. We do see OQ. There are a couple factors at play. OQ's Infinity Edge has been delayed compared to Fury's thanks to the Avarice Blade and the fact that he went for those Berserker creeps faster. So he would be at a disadvantage in terms of the team fight. Also, Duke wants to keep bullying Kuve up in the top side, keep him at that 50 CS loss in comparison. So why go for it? You know, you're feeling confident that you're going to win this in the long haul anyway. You don't need to all in during Samsung's power spike in order to win. Just play it passively, keep farming, keep the edges you already have, and then make sure that OQ really gets rolling after he was delayed a bit due to his questionable early death.
Yeah. Bliss pushing up the bottom lane right now, it looks like.
Wonder if Bliss is going to be going for what his next item is going to be. If he's going to be going Tiamat or Last Whisper.
Yeah, we'll see. Samsung coming up, not a lot of minions really to do this turret, but it looks like Wraith is going to try to tank that. They will get the top turret. They do have a turret advantage right now. Looks like Najin's going to equalize in mid, though.
Yeah, that's really important. And Goong still has the safety of that tier 1 mid to farm at, so he doesn't have to overextend and open himself up to Eve, who do quite a substantial amount of damage at the moment. Eve really about as powerful probably as he's going to get into this game. This is the time for Nidalee to shine from the jungle before the big grouping starts happening, and Rek'Sai's CC will mean a lot more for Najin.
Yeah.
But Najin, I think they're playing this absolutely right. They already have so many advantages in this game. You don't want to overcommit. Wait another 5-10 minutes when you're going to be strong, when Duke is going to be absolutely unkillable. You can see he's just freezing the lane right now.
Well, really, I mean, all of the kills that Samsung has gotten haven't been from, you know, brilliant ganking or anything like that. It's just been from Najin kind of making little mistakes here and there.
Right, and even Goong making a mistake in the mid lane. He knew that that was a possibility of happening, them coming around through his own jungle, considering that that's where OQ had just died. Yeah. So Watch tried to get the counter gank off, was a little too far away, and that resulted in the 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Goong may have been trying to bait that a little bit, but I don't think it was worth the summoners when all was said and done. It's like Watch will be going for the Warmogs before the Sidestone this time, feeling that he has enough vision.
All right.
Najin so conservative right now. OQ just sitting in the mid lane as well.
It is Tiamat for Bliss, too, to help him with a little bit of more split pushing.
Here's something we don't usually see, Doa. A freeze in the top lane. This is like pretty old school strategy, actually.
Oh, Wraith in a little bit of trouble. Xerath ultimate used, but they don't quite catch him.
They do get the flash, however, which
That's
is
true.
Nice.
Yeah, this tier 2 turret might be in a little bit of trouble, though.
Look how slowly Maokai is pushing up the top side, and Samsung playing this correctly. When you're not facing minion wave pressure, you need to turn up the heat somewhere else on the map. You need to punish Maokai for this slow push. Now Duke has changed it around. He was sitting up there freezing for a really long time.
I thought he was building up one of the giant old school CJ Blaze flame minion waves for a second.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's going to have another 6 minions in it by the time it hits that tower if nobody stops it. But he had to turn it around. Once Samsung started putting pressure on the tier 2, he had to start moving the wave forward. But Samsung dictating how soon he did that, but they made the right call. OQ taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, nice spear onto OQ there. Nidalee showing her affiliation with the Klingon Empire, apparently.
Once again, just tagging everything.
Yep.
So Cuvée clears that out pretty easily. Has picked up that needlessly large rod, but still vastly down. Whoa, 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 okay. That is a frozen heart in one go from Duke.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, good luck, Bliss and Fury.
OQ inching closer to, looks like a static shift this game, going for the wave clear instead of the faster ghost blade like he did last time.
Seems a bit wise, too, to play this one more safely. Be more content just kind of waiting for the late game. You know, like we've said a bunch of times already, Najin, they're going to be the ones who will be stronger in the late game.
Yeah, I do really think this is good foresight from Najin. This is how you deal with G's, basically. There's a reason why Jarvan mid is not really that meta of a pick, and that's because he does have a shorter shelf life in game than most other mid laners, especially when he's built for damage. He did get the Tiamat, now he's going Last Whisper. And he's damaged Jarvans just get blown up in the late game. There's really nothing you can do about it either. You ult in, you flag and drag and ult, and then you're done.
Pretty much.
So if you don't have a massive lead to the degree that you can take out 1 or 2 people instantly, you're just not going to hang with it. So Najin knows that. Why give this Jarvan any more of a lead than he already has when you know how easy it will be to deal with him now that Duke is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, Dragon is up. Looks like Samsung will get the 3rd one as well.
Najin.
Oh, Najin coming down, though. There's the ult used by Xerath. Looks like Samsung will grab it and get out just in time. Are they going to lose a mid lane tier 2 for this, though?
I think Najin should have at least tried to poke out that one. They were a bit late.
Yeah, they are really just letting these go.
Well, the first 2, I think it's fine for them to let them go, just for the fact that they're going to scale and you don't want to give them too much of a lead during their power spike. With that one, I think now that Duke has a frozen heart, could have been fought. They're going to get a tier 2 for it, though, so all is not lost.
Yep, not too bad. easily taking that turret. They can turn around and get vision on Baron on their way out as well, too. We'll see if they go through with that. Looks like they're kind of meandering over that part of the map. At least going to clear out top lane either way.
Samsung is getting close to needing to desperate Baron. Honestly.
A little bit. Yeah.
They have to make some sort of play happen. And another thing to note is how well Najin has defensively warded their own jungle right here. That you'll see for most of the game, they haven't been putting wards into the opposite side.
Here we go. Cataclysm used on Nagoon. He's still got his heal, still got his flash. He uses it to get out. So flash is gone. Bliss did not have to use his summoners. So good trade there.
That's what they wanted, but they get that at 23 minutes.
I was going to say, they wanted that one about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of miscommunication early from even Bliss. They couldn't quite coordinate that gank, getting it together. And we do see Goong going for the Hourglass after the Morel Namicon, just so he has a form of stasis to last out the Cataclysm. And he'll be going back and getting that right now. So next time it won't be quite so dire as long as he has Pure Watch around to give him a bit of a hand. And otherwise, it's just going to be a waiting game from these two teams.
Well, from Najin, Samsung can't wait. They need to make something happen.
And more than just getting a couple summoner spells as well. That wasn't the biggest prize. They don't have very good siege with this composition either due to Graves' low range, so they don't. It's hard for them to put on the pressure, to say the least, especially with this Maokai constantly threatening from the top lane. They're trying to contest the blue buff, which is about all they can do. This is about the best play they can make right now.
Oh, Culling is going to prevent that from happening. Now getting pushed back is Samsung. And so they will more or less have to give up this blue buff unless they can steal it with a Nidalee Spear. And nope, can't quite get that done.
Watch has to take it, however. It's a bit of
true.
a hit to Goong Xerath, who does thrive on those blue buffs, more so than even most mid laners. Not going to be in the cards for him this time. Was continuing to push with that Tiamat, and that's what they have to do. I mean, they have to split push and see if Eve can make some plays, but with how many wards are inside Najin's jungle from Najin compared to just a couple, in fact only one from Samsung, it's going to be very hard for Eve to be safe in there and to make plays in conjunction with Jarvan.
Well, Samsung, at this point, they're starting to just look a little bit lost. They're kind of wondering. You can see from their map movements that they're kind of wondering, what should we do now, And there's not really a lot of good options.
Well, there's something they can do. They just don't have a good composition for sieging and for pushing an advantage or for pushing a power spike. They have to fight around these dragons or these barons, but you know what? Najin's read that, and they say, we're not going to give you the fights you want. Go ahead and take 3 dragons. By the time number 4 rolls around, we're going to be ready. They should have been ready at 3. They were a bit late. But certainly by the next one, Najin needs to be able to get it together and actually contest it, but they should be able to easily win a fight. Of course, they can go poke for poke in terms of Nidalee versus Xerath, and then beyond that, they just have a much stronger mid and late game composition.
Very true. Samsung not really able to get too much damage to that mid turret. And it does certainly look like Samsung may be considering a desperation Baron here. Bliss would have to come up, of course, but they do have 3 pink wards down, 4 pink wards down actually near the Baron pit.
Here we go. Bliss trying for split pushing.
He's trying. There's a knockup from Watch though. They do get the turret. Wraith coming in. There's a Cataclysm trapping Watch for now. He may have to flash. Teleport coming down now for Najin. Eve right there. Are they going to jump on him? They get the kill onto Watch. Now Samsung backing away. No, they're turning onto Duke. He's going to take the Dark Passage as OQ covers with the ultimate, and Goong not quite able to connect with Xerath. So no kills there.
Hard to hit the ultimate onto a Whimsy Lulu like that. So.
I'd say so.
Samsung, though, I'm a bit. What was Watch thinking? I assumed he had backup coming in if he was going to try and make a play under the tower right like that. I mean, he doesn't really have any armor right now besides the Ninja Tabi. He did go for the Warmog, so just flat HP. No Randuins.
Not sure if maybe Duke's teleport was late or something like that. I think that's kind of what he was counting on,
Yeah, a bit of an uncoordinated assault, and
yeah.
Fortunately for Najin, they aren't going to miss a dragon window as a result of that. 1,500 gold to spend for Eve, though, so he's going to be getting pretty close to that death cap.
Yep, looks that way.
Quite enough money in the bank to get that one quite yet, but this dragon's going to be really quite important. Goong's ult coming back up soon enough, along with OQ's, so they can make a good stab at it, but
this would be Dragon 4 for Samsung.
yeah, this is the one that Najin needs to get.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Dragon's up. Samsung with the opportunity here. They've got the Rift Sculler as well, too. Bliss ready to come in with a flank if anyone goes through that choke point. Oh, but he backs off. And so it looks like they will allow Najin to get into the river. Yeah, Bliss cannot get poked out here. Samsung going for the Dragon. Can Watch come in and steal this away? We'll see if he can. And the Dragon, oh, it starts to regen a little bit of health here as Samsung comes in. The Dragon regenerating health. Eve gets it. That's 4 Dragons for Samsung, and they will just back away again. They got to get home, though. They may lose an inhibitor turret. They've lost the turret in mid off of pretty much every Dragon. Are they going to maybe try for a flank here instead, though?
Oh, they're running all the way back around, trying to get through the base gates right now. I'm not sure. Oh, actually,
oh,
Najin
they make it. Wow.
Changing it up, going to go topside instead.
Yeah.
Wow, so Samsung surprisingly getting another Dragon, number 4 for them. This is now pretty dangerous for Najin.
I guess so.
They didn't land the poke they needed. Goog just not dealing too much damage.
Well, it seemed like they
now.
really were a bit afraid of Bliss. I mean, for some reason, him being in the front there was able to kind of zone them out a bit.
I mean, he can do damage, but
yeah,
they
Goog
should.
had his flash. I don't know.
They can also focus him very effectively. They've got the box also to stop any kind of follow-up assault. I mean, yes, he does have 250.
Oh, there's Goong, and he's trapped in the Cataclysm. Has to burn that flash, and that is also very big for Samsung. Flashes out of the way. Suddenly, Xerath is much more vulnerable. And is Samsung going to maybe try to turn this into a Baron?
This Maokai is getting pretty huge. He should be able to help Goong survive. So far, Watch continuing to jungle. We do see Last Whisper completed for both the AD carries now, so at least Fury's going to have an easier time ripping through Duke, but I mean, OQ should just demolish Samsung right now. Samsung is playing a team with no front line and no armor. I mean, like literally none. With that Last Whisper, he should just hit like a truck. I don't know why Najin is so reluctant to engage these team fights. At 30 minutes, this is their game now.
Well, overly safe nature, perhaps. And looking at the kills as well, maybe Najin just feeling kind of nervous. I mean, we can see everything, you know, we can see where the gold is really at, but I don't know. It's tough to say. It's a bit puzzling.
Samsung's split push has been surprisingly successful, getting Bliss into the side lane with the Tiamat, able to clear those waves so quickly. And Graves can clear the other one very fast as well with the help of Buckshot, so getting that advantage. And Najin hasn't been able to get the wards in this game. They were been so consistently ward dominant tonight up until this point, but now we just see hardly any on the map at all. And for Watch, no Sight Stone this game. Last game he did have the Sight Stone onto the Rek'Sai.
Deciding he doesn't quite need it as much this time around. It's tanky enough.
If anything, he needs it more, just so that Goong can poke and so that Pure can maybe land some hooks. Much more important for him to have it this time around.
Would make sense. All right. Siege on the tier 1 turret in mid, not really working out for Samsung Galaxy just yet. But I kind of feel like now they're at the point where they can put a bit of pressure on, but really they just need to make sure they get that 5th dragon.
Indeed, that should be the main priority for Samsung, and Najin is going to have to engage on this in a couple minutes when it comes up. Duke not finishing his Banshee spell right there, or his Spirit Visage, instead going for another Giant spell afterwards. Once that raw HP, he can deal with this mixed damage composition rather, in the most efficient way possible on fewer items. Some clearing right now from Najin. Maybe they would trade a 5th dragon for the Baron buff. Give him a chance.
I wonder. Oh, another nice spear from Eve. Yeah, those are going to be a threat pretty much all game long.
Well, Eve did get quite far ahead of Watch in this game. His jungle in Italy has proved quite impressive.
Yeah.
In the matches tonight, and
well, he certainly came ready to play, that's for sure. Oop. Dragon up in a minute 30.
I'm curious if we're going to see any jungle Italy in our 2nd series of the evening, actually, because
I don't know if it's really Bengi's type of champion.
It's not really Lee's either. You know, the thing about Lee is that he's been GE Tigers generally plays compositions around Lee offering primary engage. And they have run poke comps, of course, where he has been a little bit more peel focused. But generally, they really like Lee to have crowd control. So it doesn't really seem to mesh with their style, but we'll wait and see if that changes or whether the GE Tigers show us some new tactics tonight. Yeah, I can't ever imagine Bengi playing.
Yeah. All right, well. Dragon now in less than a minute. This is really kind of, not exactly do or die for Najin, but it's do or maybe die.
Wow, Hydra done now for Bliss. He's really all-inning on this damage. That is pretty ridiculous.
Huh. Well, it's, more effective split pushing, I suppose, if he wants to. But here we go, down the mid lane.
This is like a solo queue lane Jarvan build right here.
Well, Samsung playing to their strengths, we'll put it that way.
I mean, certainly their burst damage is enormous right now, but the tankier this Watch, Rek'Sai and Duke Maokai get, the harder it's going to be for them to close this game.
Okay, well, here we go again. Najin coming into the river, Dragon up in 5. Wraith pushing, or rather Watch pushing down the mid lane.
Has plenty of tunnels.
Yep, Samsung needs to get this poke on. Oh, that's some poke.
Yeah, Duke not taking too much damage from that anymore, though. Only about an 1/8 of his health, so
here we go.
Better situation. There's the Dragon.
Could be Dragon 5. Bliss needs to get ready to come over the wall here if he is required to. Fury walking way far up there. Gets a Lulu shield,
really
though.
Poked out.
Yes, he is. He's taken quite a bit. And Najin looks like they're going to be able to claim this one unless Bliss comes in from behind. But the zoning from here with the box, very, very good. They get the Dragon. And now Najin just disengaging. Kube can't follow. OQ, though, following a little bit, as he often does. But Najin, crucially, gets that Dragon. Great, great ultimate by Pure to keep Bliss from engaging. That was key right there.
Very, very nice play from Pure.
Yeah.
Absolutely zoning out the Jarvan. And the Jarvan's so squishy that he just can't even be CC'd at all. If he walked into that, he was instantly dead.
Yes.
OQ would have turned on him and blew him up in a second. And Goog landed the poke.
Teleport coming in. Duke popping that ultimate, goes deep onto Eve. Bliss zoned out. Wraith tries to separate people with the ultimate. Here comes the ult from Goong now. Exhaust onto Watch. Great knockup with that wild growth. But is there any follow-up? No. Najin with an easy win there. And that was actually a flash knockup by Watch to help clean up that team fight. They spot Bliss with the Tremor Sense. He's backing away. Kube lived through that, but Najin can take an easy Baron off of this.
And that's why this composition isn't meta, Noah.
Yep.
There's really just nothing you can do at this point in the game if you're Samsung. As long as Najin plays these team fights properly and gets that zone. We saw Duke coming in with the big teleport right there, and with the tankiness, so easy to pursue and chase these squishy targets down, especially when they're split up.
Yeah.
And Bliss just hasn't been effective, or as effective as he would like, I should say, on this mid lane Jarvan. You needed to get a bigger advantage out of the laning phase to make it work late.
Yep.
Najin's patience paying off.
Did well, but not well enough.
And look at this, focusing down Eve as well. Eve running low on mana. Duke with the flash, twisted advance right there. And even Wraith's ultimate, not enough to save him. Fury continually crowd control. Does get a nice 4-man wild growth, but it's all too easy to take him down. No tankiness whatsoever. And I mean, Najin escapes from that one nearly full health after chasing all the way down lane and easily transitions into a Baron that there is no way Samsung could contest.
It's looking grim for Samsung. We'll see how long they can hold on. But it's gotten to be that point in the game where Najin can kind of do whatever they want.
I do think that Najin was a bit overly conservative this game. And they did let it get to a very dangerous tipping point around those 5 dragons. but looks like they're going to pull it through when all is said and done, but a little bit excessively risky. I think they could have fought, or at least made an attempt on Dragons 3 and 4. They gave them up too easily, and were a little bit late to contest.
Yeah. Overall, though, I'll say again, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Samsung. Even if it's not a meta composition, it's something that they knew that they could win with if they got a big enough lead early. That is their strength, and you know, for now, I think that's good to focus on.
I agree with you, and I think that this will serve them well going forward as they try and find a little bit more of an identity and hone it. Certainly better than some of the other styles they've been attempting to play that really weren't working with their skill set.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. Bliss is lucky he didn't just die right there.
Well, he's got a couple shields from Lulu, from Janna, and the turret as well, so a little bit more protected. For the moment, anyway.
Watch continuing his split pushing ways.
Yeah.
Right up in mid. Getting those Baron empowered minions rolling. There's a large wave developing in favor of Najin in the top lane too, so that's going to be pretty difficult to stop if Watch decides to move on over to that side. He does have a tunnel within range right there at the Krugs if he wants to get over instantly, and Bliss is the one who's sent to stop Watch.
All right.
Or not stop Watch, wander around in circles.
Yeah, he's kind of just walking back and forth now. They may have an engager. Are they going to go for it? No.
Well, there's something they can do, because if Jarvan leaves...
Oh, goodbye, Kube. Wild growth on himself, but the ult comes in. Knock up from Duke, allowing Goon to get the kill. Bliss gets grabbed now, manages to jump in for the Cataclysm, but just like we said, gets absolutely evaporated. Exhaust on Duke under the turret, manages to get out anyway. He's so tanky, and there's just nothing that Samsung can even try to prevent this at this point.
Bliss was a little confused right there because he was facing the dilemma of the rest of my team is so squishy that if I leave and the Cataclysm isn't here, they're going to dive the turret without any punishment whatsoever. And you watch and Duke easily able to go. And also, if Bliss had gone into the mid lane, Rek'Sai could have just ulted right back to the tunnel and turned it into a 5v4 dive. So Najin just playing the map really well, knowing the limited options that their opponents have to actually stop this split push and playing very well around it.
Yeah, and there we go. 2 inhibitors in the favor of Najin E-mFire, and they can recall, they can do whatever they want. Now, Dragon is up in 50 seconds. Yes, it would be another 5 Dragon for Samsung, but even if they get it this time, it's a little bit too late.
Well, Najin needs to go back, make sure they secure it. Baron buff is down, so you don't want to even give them a remote window back into this game. So, yeah, Bliss having a very difficult choice to make. Kube ends up eating a ton of poke and stun, and it doesn't matter if he has wild growth in his shield, he's still going down.
Pure has just been like the mortal enemy.
He's played this very well.
Game. Yeah.
Very well, that's for sure.
Played Death Sentence box, you really prevented Bliss from getting an ideal engage.
I have to say, I think for me, Pure is MVP of this game.
I agree.
He's been instrumental in foiling Samsung's strategy, like you said.
Well, that's the thing, is the only thing Samsung has is that engage by Bliss, and Pure is there every time to just stop it cold. Look, he's right there. Yeah, he's ready again. Box isn't up, but he won't need it.
Watch is there on the flank too.
Oh, Fury comes over the wall. They're going to go for this Dragon being a little bit stealthy here. Whirlwind coming in. It looks like Watch is going deep. They did get that Dragon, but will they live to use it? Wild growth and a flash from Kube keeps him alive. Meanwhile, they will take out Fury. They will take out Wraith. And now Kube turning but not doing enough damage. Najin, everyone's still alive there. Oh, they managed to get OQ at the very end. He dashed right into a Glitter Lance. Whoops.
Well, I don't think he had too much choice right there. Goon going to eat a big spear, but there are super minions pressing into the base right now. Only Kube and Eve remaining. Tiny amount of HP. They'll try and take this one out. Meanwhile, top tier 2 goes on. Duke chewing his gum all the way up to the top side of the map, looking to eliminate more turrets. One Nexus turret has been destroyed.
Duke, is so confident in this top lane that he shows all the emotion of somebody moving furniture. So that's what you do with the top lane tanks. I suppose you just do the heavy lifting. And then you get completely poked out by Eve. Duke's got to get out of here. There's a spear, dodges it. Uh-oh. Here comes Kube, though, and there's a kill for Eve. That Dragon buff helping out there. Kuve and Eve doing that. Wild Growth, can they keep him alive? Just barely, yes.
With the help for the safety dance.
Yep.
Not sure why Watch wasn't burrowed right there.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty big mistake, because if Watch had gotten the knockup, maybe Duke wouldn't have died, actually.
Maybe.
I don't get that, but okay.
That's one of those, well, who cares about the KDA award anyway kind of moments for Najin, I guess. I don't recommend it, but that's how they're playing it out.
And there's Duke.
Yep.
Another great game from Duke, that's for sure. Of course, Kuve has caught up in terms of CS, but it's a little bit too little too late at this stage.
Yeah.
Aspect of the Dragon is going to be up for another minute or so, and then it will fade like Samsung's hopes of winning this game.
That is true. All right, here we go. Baron, it's a desperation Baron from Samsung.
Well, it's going to be a 4v5.
They're getting it really fast, too. Look at that. They get the Baron. Watch comes in, though. They knock him up, and a couple members of Samsung. They do lose Eve, but they get the Baron. Oh, Wraith, why are you going back? What? Wraith, why?
Double kill, Watch with the Q right afterwards, and now looks like this is going to be the end of the game. Duke doesn't have TP. Watch has a little bit of a chuckle right there.
Well, here comes Najin. They don't have the Baron buff, but they probably aren't going to need it.
One of those very few games where the team without the 5 dragons and the Baron can actually win. And that is really a testament to Samsung.
Oh, Watch coming in again, just gets blown up though. They do get the kill onto Pure though, a double kill actually from Fury as they push Najin out of the base for now. Fury's pretty strong at the moment. There goes Duke. Kuve chasing if they can get that Glitter Lance off of the E-Shield onto Fury. Where's the cooldown? Saving it, and he's going to dash ahead. Duke coming back in, watching OQ, trying to get damage. Wild Growth! Is it going to be more for Fury? He's going ahead. Another kill. That would be a triple unofficially. And there's the unofficial quadra for Fury. Another double kill, and OQ in a bit of trouble. Those are some long
TP
death
into
timers.
the top side, actually, so it looks like Kuve trying to push this one down. He didn't even heal.
Oh, Fury's still chasing
He's very
him,
low.
man.
Fury just delaying his recall.
He's going to push up bottom lane, too. Here we go. And Samsung. Oh,
all right,
man.
is OQ going to try for the style play right here?
The duel is real. Oh, Fury doesn't know. He's going to get with the culling. Here comes Wraith, though. Can he save him? He's going to get him.
The exhaust.
The ace. That is how you play support. Wraith coming in to save the day. And suddenly Samsung is going to get some objectives. They're just going to walk past. They're going to try to end it. They may be able to end it here.
They still have Baron, actually. Only Pure up.
They do.
1 second
There's
till
the
Goong.
heal coming in for Wraith. Nexus turret going down. It's all Goong. It's all Pure. Can they do it? Pure throws out the death sentence.
I think they can.
I think they can too. There goes the Nexus turret. There goes Pure. The Nexus going to be targeted. Watch up, but he's going to be too late. It's going to be 4 seconds left. And Samsung comes back, wins the fight at home, and then takes it right to the base of Najin. GG. Absolutely insane. What a throw from Najin.
Well, you know what, Doa? Najin's sloppy closure finally gets to them.
Yep. Finally caught up with him.
It's been an issue that's been running through their games.
Yeah.
When they get that lead and they get overconfident, they get kind of dumb. And now...
Wow. Just goes to show, I mean, they got lazy with preventing those dragons early on. They got lazy with preventing the Baron a bit.
The first couple dragons, it was absolutely fine to give away.
I'm talking like 3 and 4.
Three and especially 4 were pretty bad.
Yeah, obviously the first 2 are not a big deal, but after that.
Samsung coming up big, though, winning that game in the end.
Wow.
Just barely. And
yeah, that one's got
multiple members of Najin getting caught out. Not going to look too good for them. They've got to tighten up their play and their closure in the last one, but man, Fury.
So crazy.
That's some pretty big plays to pick up the multi-kills at the end. They got them the victory.
Fury and Wraith, man. They are the star duo of this team and showing it right there. And Najin, OQ's like, yeah, all right. Maybe I have to play things a bit safer. Well, so an opportunity out of nowhere for Samsung to get their first match win of the season. Najin you know, still overall looking like the stronger team, no doubt about that.
No question.
But certainly capable of giving away a game or two here and there, I guess.
Well, Samsung wins their second map, too.
Yeah.
They took one off of Jin Air in another freak win, might I add.
That's true. That was one where the inhibitor came back at the very last moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Samsung's been doing well. Their perseverance has actually gotten them a couple wins that they were quite unlikely to achieve. But
and see, this is a good example of why you should never surrender a solo queue game, because you never know when the other team is going to throw. That is actually true. This is why you should not surrender solo queue games. Samsung, they got the solo queue game they wanted, and the other team threw. How about that? So when we come back, game 3, who's going to take it? Don't go anywhere, guys. It's certainly going to get even better here. Champions Korea, wow. What a crazy game. That's the fun thing about Samsung, is that if they play to their strengths, win or lose, it's going to be entertaining. Don't want to miss the next one. We'll be back.